Hi, Squitty here from Six Cricket. What we've got here is the analysis replay of Rajasthan Royals versus Gujarat Titans at the Narendra Modi Stadium, Ahmedabad, on the 29th of May 2022. Another way of putting that, a quicker way of putting that, is this is the last IPL final, the final of 2022. So this is the ball by ball system that I've sort of written. I'm not brilliant at coding, but this is how it works out. You've got the batsman here, runs, balls, fours, sixes, dots, what ball they were dismissed on. If they're dismissed, they're not dismissed yet, so those balls just keep chunking up. That's the last ball they faced. Strike rate, impact, the bowlers down here, dots, fours, sixes. We've got what happened in the last ball here, and there's a wicket, so there we are. Jaiswal has now been dismissed. Josh Buttler is now batting with Sanju Samson. Here's the win predictor, which is until the second team batting has faced about 6 overs, the win predictor tends to favour the first team batting, which is fair enough. There's not really much you can do about that. The old adage that you can't measure a pitch or the conditions until both sides are batted on it. If a side batting first should have about 30 to 40% more points than the side batting second by the time the first innings finished to be comfortable that they'll probably win it, and that's not what's happening here. But there we are. As you can see, loads of dots down here. Apologies as well for the flashing. I've turned screen mirroring off, but it still flashes now and again. It's below the rate which should worry people who have photosensitive problems, which by the way I do, but it is still very annoying, and it's something I'll look to fix at some point. So we can see here there's loads of dots, but Buttler has a player impact of 39.9, but Pandya is now taking a 1 for 3 in 8 balls, has an impact of 43.57, showing how important his bowling is, and he's slightly tipping Buttler at the moment. His bowling is more valuable than Butler's batting. Butler's still there, 37 off 32, 38 off 33. There he goes up here. Pandya is having, and there you go. There's a wicket. That's Buttler out, and that was Pandya's second wicket. So Butler's stopped now at 43.5. I will say that the impact doesn't settle till the entire game's over. The impact isn't per innings, it's per match. So a bowler's impact, even in a bowler who bowled in the first innings, their impact can change during the second innings bowling if it turns out their bowling was above the average or below the average of everybody, not just the people in their team. And to know that, everybody has to bowl, and the match has to be completed before you know that. Likewise with the batting, you can have there's another wicket. You can have a great first innings. You can think 60 is a good score. You can set 180, and then somebody in the second innings comes out and scores 95 off fewer balls, and suddenly that puts your innings into context. The whole point of this is to put the whole of cricket into context, to have a system that tells a narrative rather than relies on data points. There's some tools I've put together. This is one. This is the match analysis tool, which I use the data as another wicket, which I use the data from cricsheet.org, a fantastic website, which does ball by ball of every sheet, and this takes that fantastic resource and turns it back into matches, which we can then analyse. It's slowed down at a run a ball just so we can keep up with it. The idea is there's a ball about every 3 seconds, so an innings takes 3 or 4 minutes. As you can see now, we're in the last over. There's a couple of balls left. Once the last over's over, I'm going to pause for a few seconds. You probably won't even notice it. And there we are, 130 new innings, click to continue, 130 for 9. Let's just run through here. Pandya, fantastic, 3 for 17 off his full 4 overs, impact of 57.54. The best on the batting side was Josh Buttler, 39 of 35 with an impact points of 43.5. Bear with me a second, and when we come back, the win predictor will be on the other side of the screen. Okay, we're back. Win predictor on the other side of the screen. New innings, click to continue. Sahar is facing Bolt, and it's Gujarat Titans batting. So I'm imagining that most people who are watching this have seen the Gujarat Titans just went ahead for the first time then already, and then thanks to the wicket, Sahar's wicket, the Rajasthan Royals have now gone back ahead again. And looking at it from this point of view, from this point in the game, given the number of dot balls the Gujarat Titans are facing, more as a percentage than Rajasthan Royals were, 14 dot balls out of 18. I mean, just a ridiculous number of dots. That and already losing the wicket of Sahar, it's probably not a bad shout to say that it's about equal, if not Rajasthan Royals slightly on top. Gujarat Titans got off to a very, very slow start here. Trent Bolt has bowled 2.5 overs and taken 1 for 6. He's now taken 1 for 7. How does he finish his? We'll know in a second how he finishes his third over. There we go. He's finished. There we are. 1 for 8 off 3 overs. That is Test match economy rate and old-fashioned Test match economy rate. Chahal also bowling brilliantly. He's just finishing his first over, and his first over, well, he's gone for 4, but he's only going for a run a ball. And they've lost another wicket. Wade's gone. Bolt's got him caught for 8 off 10 balls. So at this point, Rajasthan Royals probably are ahead. 35 for 2 off 7 overs is not good for the Gujarat Titans, even chasing 130. It amplifies the fact that the pitch is probably a little bit slow and low. It's very late in the season. This match was played on the 29th of May last year, and it's going to take a couple of standout innings to change it. Do they come? Well, those of you that know what happened in the 2022 IPL final will know, but for those who don't, keep watching. Impact-wise, Trent Bolt has now bowled 3 overs, 1 for 8. That is just ridiculous. Chahal is now coming up. He's got 1 ball left in his third over. He's bowled 3 overs for 15, so he's only going for 5. McCoy's back on, and the run rate is still low. I mean, Gujarat are still not really powering ahead. It's dead level according to Win Predictor now. Absolutely bang dead level. I mean, there's nothing in it. 2 points is nothing. It's margin of error. And suddenly Gujarat go ahead with that 4, and they've hit a 6, and now they're really piling ahead, a single. So suddenly Gujarat Titans are going ahead. And this is down to Pandya, who had a fantastic game with the ball and now is having a fantastic game with the bat. He started off slowly, but he's given them a 50-point Win Predictor lead. 32 off 28, 34 off 29, and then he's out. Okay, so that wicket's brought him much closer, but still maintaining that lead, and David Miller's getting off to a relatively slow start there. Trent Bolt, 1 for 14 off 24 balls off a full 4 overs. Chahal, 1 for 20 off 4 overs, superb. And Miller's now just gone above a run a ball. His impact starting to climb. His impact's 10 at the moment. Remember, for Pandya, we've got to add his bowling impact to his batting impact. There goes David Miller with a 6, smacking it out of the ground. I remember it well. It actually just skimmed over long off in real life. So yeah, he's going well, and there's a 4 more Miller boundaries, and suddenly the Win Predictor putting Gujarat Titans well ahead now, and so this should be. It's just about to be finished off. They're way ahead at this point, and I think Shubman Gill finishes off any moment now with a 6. There we are. What's the point? Yeah, we go. Shubman Gill off O.C. McCoy, smacks him for 6, and that actually takes Shubman Gill to above a runner ball. So Shubman Gill ends up with 47.1 impact points, but Hardik Pandya on the bowling side, 82.29. His 3 for 17 just looked better as the game went on. Bolts was brilliant with 1 for 14, of course, but those 2 wickets that Pandya got, getting Butler, Sampson and Hetmar out, those are 3 absolutely superb batsmen that Pandya got out, and then scoring above a runner ball. So his overall 82 points for bowling, 38 points for batting, put him head and shoulders above any other player there for the 2022 IPL final. Butler's 43.5 impact points, Kishore 41.6 impact points, Shubman Gill 47.6, and then we've got a few in the 30s. David Miller 53.9, Trent Bolt and YS Chahal. You've got to feel sorry for those guys. Between them, they bowled 8 overs and took 2 for 34, but ended up on the losing side. To have 8 overs, 2 for 34, and to actually lose a game with almost 2 overs to spare, only 18 overs and 1 ball, so there's 11 balls to spare, and they get 133 chasing 130. So this is the first of a number of tools I'm putting together. This is the match preview tool. The idea is to have a look at the Win Predictor, see if that's interesting, to see each player impact so we can see what they're doing. There's various other things I'm putting together as well. An alternative to BASR, if you guys know what that is, batting average strike rate, I'm calling it BASR plus, because from my view, BASR just amplifies strike rate too much. It's basically the same as if you're top of strike rate, you're probably the top of BASR. It doesn't tell a more nuanced story, and that's what this is all about. Consistency. It's something that pundits talk about all the time, consistent bowling, consistent batting. Well, there is a mathematical tool that's designed to measure consistency against the mean, which anybody that's done 15-year-old school mathematics will know. It's called the standard deviation, and so we'll be looking at consistency using standard deviation. We'll be looking at which player is the best value, so we'll be looking at how much players are paid versus how much they actually contribute using the impact. Who has the most impact for the dollar? And, I don't want to drag this in, but who has the least impact for the dollar? Who are the good buys? Who are the bad buys? Year by year. Add that to consistency. Maybe that's who teams should be looking for. So there's a whole list of things I'm going to be adding over the next couple of weeks and months. It isn't just for IPL. I'll be doing this for most T20s. In fact, 50 over games as well. This tool works exactly the same in 50 overs as it does for T20. And we shall be hopefully providing some extra value. The idea is not to provide just data points, but to provide the narrative, the story of a game, a story of a career, the story of a tournament, rather than just a data point. An example of a data point might be after 36 balls, a side losing more than 3 wickets is 80% more likely to lose a T20 game. Well, that's a data point. That's one specific example at one specific ball of one specific outcome. And that's great. And it's great for armchair pundits, great for casual watchers of the game. But generally speaking, you need to take a broader view. You need to put things in context. What happens after 4 overs if 4 wickets are down? Does it matter how many runs are scored after 3 overs? What if after 6 overs, yes, you're 3 wickets down, but you're on 115? Is that the? I mean, what's the context? On their own, the data points are great for armchair enthusiasts, but for myself personally, I like to see more data. I like to see it put in tools that give it context and let people tell a story. I'll let the game tell a narrative, this wonderful game of cricket tell a narrative. Just finally, second thank you to cricsheet.org and the fantastic work that is done there for making this possible. I'm not a professional coder. I did back in 30 years ago, I did code quite a lot, but it's something that I don't do very much. So apologies that this isn't the slickest code in the world. But, it works. It does the job. A lot of my stuff will be on sixcricket.com, once I get that going, and on my YouTube channel, which I'll link to wherever I can. I'm going to stick this on Facebook to start off with, though. Thanks very much for your time. Scritty at Six Cricket, signing off.